Hi, everybody. It's Wendy from the Sanctuary Radio Show. So we're here, Be Live. We're just setting up everything, getting everything ready for the interview. It's going to be a little bit different this week. So hang in with us. I'm going over to my page to share the link with my Facebook page. Let's see, where is it? Let me find the link. And then we'll just get started. Okay, there it is. 1 second. So please share, like, comment. If you hear anything, ask any questions. We have two very, very smart people here, so they can give us a lot of good information. So hold on, just waiting for the Be Live to go live and for me to be able to share it to my page. Okay. 1 second. Of course, it's going super slow, but it's okay. Okay, so we are sharing now. Okay, so we're going to have my producer, Jessica, bring us in.
Okay, here we go. And 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Sanctuary. You're listening to DC Radio 96.3, HD4, and DCRadio.gov. I'm Wendy Cherry, your host, and today we're doing a little something different. So instead of talking about just health and wellness, we're talking about Black inventors. And so since we know how to do everything, and we're the creators of everything, I figured we'd add a new little component here. And so I have two amazing inventors here with me in the studio. So first, I have Miss Shiva Walker, and Shiva is a mom, a wife, and she works in a school, and she believes in working hard to make her dreams come true. So now Shiva and I met. We were studying together as at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and she's in Atlanta, and we became accountability partners. So now Shiva did all these things, and we're going to have her tell you her story. She is the founder of the Umbrella Buddy. So we're going to get into that. But with her family support and an entrepreneurial spirit, Shiva has spent the last year and a half developing the product and is now working to get the product into our hands. So we will have her talk about that. No, just so you can see, for those of you who are on the Be Live, Shiva is sitting in the car. That's how committed she was to getting this done. She is at work. Today's her last day, but she snuck out into the parking lot. And so she's on the phone with us here.
That's right.
My other guest is Dr. Fred Sawyer, and he has 12 patents, and he is an athlete, and he has an amazing story. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Shiva go first so she can get back into school for the last day to celebrate with the kids, and then we'll have Dr. Sawyer, who is an inventor, a businessman, and a scholar, go and expand and tell his story and talk about the 12 patents that he has and his journey to getting patented and, some of those things. So welcome, Dr. Sawyer, and welcome, Shiva.
Thank you, Wendy.
Yes.
For having me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Yes,
so, and my
Wendy.
cousin, Bill Bailey, when he watches my show, he said, you have to have Dr. Sawyer on. And he showed me your website, and he talked a little bit about your story. And then I already knew that my girl, Shiva, was doing her thing. So I was like, all right, this is the perfect match. Right. So welcome to the show. So I wanted to give you, the listeners, a little bit of an overview of what patents do and who even has some patents. So unlike Black slaves, this is historical. Free Blacks prior to the Civil War were entitled to receive patents for their inventions. Now, the thing was, some of them didn't lack the education and the vocational opportunities and the skill to develop their ideas. So they had the ideas, they had the patents, but they didn't have the money and those types of things to bring them to fruition. The first Black man, who is credited with Getting a U.S. patent in 1821 was Thomas Jennings, and his was for the dry cleaning process. He used the money that he got from his invention and from his patent to fund abolitionist causes. So, okay, that's awesome. And then another, I just want to give you some idea of people who have created patents. So other famous Black ones are Madam C.J. Walker. We all know her. She was the first woman millionaire. We're not talking Black woman, white woman. We're talking about the first woman millionaire in the United States based on her rendition of a hair straightener and other hair products. So here are two more. Frederick McKinley Jones, and he was an African-American inventor, entrepreneur, and winner of the National Medal of Technology, and also inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. His innovations in refrigeration is what brought great improvement to help when people are long hauling, like when trucks are long hauling produce or whatever they have, via transportation to make sure that the stuff doesn't perish. So think of truck refrigeration. So this is this gentleman here. And then we've all heard this like in the fourth grade, Lewis Howard Latimer. Him along with Joseph Nichols invented a light bulb with a carbon filament and improvement, and they improved Thomas Edison's original paper filament, which burned out too quickly. And these gentlemen got that patent in 1881. So I just wanted to give you like some of the historical perspective, but then we have this modern society, and we had Dr. Sawyer who got his patents over the years, and then we had Shiva who's still working on hers, and you know it's a more current situation. So you don't have to be like, you know, you could be the everyday person who's doing this. So Shiva, I wanted to bring you in to talk about a little bit about yourself and about your invention.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Wendy, for having me.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I, like the bio said, am a mother and a wife. And for the past, it's going on 15 years, I have been an educator. So I was a teacher, and then I became a school counselor. And in that plight, you always see things that you can fix. So I'm one of those people, I love to solve problems. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Okay.
So as a teacher, I would notice that my students would always come in with their wet umbrellas, and then they would either hang them up or put them on the floor. Now, we had carpet, and if anybody knows about school carpet, it is gross. Like,
right.
They keep it for so long.
Yeah.
We walk on it every day. We do all kind of stuff on it every day. So it begins to stink. So every time it gets wet, it stinks like crazy. So as a school teacher, I thought to myself, how do I fix this? So that was my initial thought of the umbrella buddy. I didn't have a name for it then. I didn't know what it was going to be.
Right.
But that's where the initial thought came from. But I had no idea what to do with that thought. And it stayed in my mind for like 10 years.
Okay.
Before I even told anybody about it.
Okay.
So first person I told was my husband, and he kind of looked like, okay, that's interesting. He was like, guys don't really like that, so I get it, but okay.
Right.
So I'm a fighter, so stuff like that motivates me. So I was like, okay, let me learn a little bit more. I happened to be watching TV one day and saw a commercial for one of the companies that allows you to come in and talk about your invention. So I did that. I went in. The guy was really super excited about my invention. He said it hadn't been out there. He hadn't heard about it. I had them do a patent search for me.
Okay.
Where they went to just search the patent. And it was a lawyer that went to search the patent registry just to see what was in there. And they used keywords that related to my umbrella bag. And it came back. It looked good because it wasn't a lot out there in reference to what I was trying to do, which was great.
Okay.
So then we started talking about pricing. And the numbers that they quoted 20, 25,000, 30,000. I
To
just did not
create
have
it? That's the 25.
Yes.
Okay, to create it. Okay.
Yep. To create it, and to put it in different trade shows.
Okay.
So I went back to the drawing board. I'm like, okay, I don't have that amount of money. And I think for most African Americans, that's where we would stop.
Right.
Because it's like, I don't have this money. I don't know what to do. So, like I said, I'm a fighter. So I knew that there was a way. I just didn't know how to get there. So one day, while on Facebook, yay to social media, I was in a group and someone posted about working with inventors. They had invented something, so now they wanted to come back and work with inventors.
Okay.
So, of course, I read it and I was like, that sounds maybe like something I should reach out to the person and talk to. It took me a minute because, you have to gain some trust. You go look at the person's site, see who they are, that type of thing. So I went to her site. I ended up getting on a call with her. She ended up becoming my mentor. She has a company called Before the Tank.
Before the Tank. Okay.
Before the Tank. And what she does is she gets inventors ready from the beginning. So from idea to actually having your product in hand.
Wow.
So I went through her program, and man, I learned so much. She taught us a lot of the ways to do it without spending $20,000-$30,000.
Okay.
Which was very helpful for me because I didn't have that money.
Right.
So I went through her program. It's been about a year now, year and a half. And I mean, she taught us every single piece, like how to do your provisional patents online. Like that stuff seems scary.
Right.
Going on a USPTO, it's a lot of words.
And the USPTO
really
is the United States Patent and Trademark Office site? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So going on there is daunting, but she was able to just walk us through, like, don't overthink this. This is really easy. And when you look at it, you're like, it is really easy. It's asking me questions I know how to answer.
Right.
But when you just go on there, it seems like a lot of information. So she was able to walk us through that, walk us through meeting manufacturers. I mean, every step has been covered. So right now, where I'm at is I recently launched a Kickstarter campaign because I needed to raise $15,000.
Okay.
To fund my first manufacturing batch.
Okay.
And I'm so elated to say that it went well. I met my goal.
Yeah. I put 5 on it. I put 5 on it.
Yes. Thank you, Wendy.
Yes.
I needed that.
Yes.
So it was a lot of work, but it just let me know if you just fight through it and just keep believing that you're going to make it, you will make it.
Right.
I was far away from my total. And I had an investor come in and say, hey, how can I help you?
That's amazing.
And we met that goal. And it was funny because it wasn't until about 8 p.m., 9 p.m. the night that it was supposed to end. So I love that stuff happens like that. But it was great. It was scary. It was fun. It was all those things. But yes, we met the goal. So now I have been prototyping my umbrella buddy, and what I noticed is that I needed to add a interior layer.
Okay, so prototyping means you're like making like a fake one to kind of just see what needs to be adjusted or improved upon.
Yes.
Okay.
So with my umbrella buddy, once you put your a wet umbrella inside of the bag, the inner layer will absorb the water and pull it away from your umbrella.
Okay.
And then the outer layer is supposed to protect the water that's on the inside so it won't go through. So what we did is we're making a new design and a new version just to make sure that the water doesn't go through.
Okay.
And that's just about done. And then it'll be ready to be manufactured.
Okay.
So I'm working with a company called Inventors Launchpad.
Okay.
And what they do is they're in Tampa. And so they work with a lot of the QVC and HSN people. And what they do is connect you to a manufacturer. So my manufacturer is in China. I get to talk to them, of course.
Okay.
But they are kind of the third party that works in between us.
Okay.
So yes, it's awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Well,
Well,
yes.
so we can find you. So when do you think that the actual product will be in Target and Walmart and QVC and all these places?
Right. So it's going to take about a month to make, and then depending on shipping, about a month to ship.
Okay.
So I'm assuming I'll have my products in hand late July, early August.
Okay.
Yep.
And so what do your friends, like your children, what are your children thinking about their mom as being an inventor?
They are so excited.
Are they?
They ask for updates all the time.
Okay.
I have people in the neighborhood that have heard about this. They'll come up to me and say, "Hey, your son told me about." I've had his teachers call me. Same with my daughter. They're all so excited. Of course, they're motivated, and now thinking about what they can do.
That's awesome.
What can I make?
Yes, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Dr. Sawyer, do you have any questions for
I have
Shiva?
a question. Shiva, do you have a patent already?
So I probably ran through that too quick. So I have a provisional patent right now. So we are working on my non-provisional patent.
And what does that look like? What is that process?
So the provisional patent part was all me.
Okay.
So that was actually going through every single form, my claims, my abstracts, my specifications. So what the provisional patent does is it holds it for 1 year.
Right.
It holds your idea.
Have you gotten any office actions from the patent office?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
I have not. So I have a lawyer that's working on my non-provisional.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the beginning stages, so I'm providing a lot of information so that they can write everything up. But yep.
Okay. Well, you all are connected via the email. So, Dr. Sawyer, do you have any
Dr.
other?
Sawyer, it sounds like we need to talk. I can tell from your face. So yes, we will talk.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So for right now, we have tell the people where they can at least kind of like follow along. And then do you have a picture of your bag, or do you have one in the car in the back seat?
I actually brought it and took it inside. So
okay. Well, in the building. I have a picture of her holding her bag. So when I post this video, I will put I will include that so that you can all see what her invention looks like. So tell us where they can find you for now, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah. So for right now, of course, I'm on Facebook. So I'm on Facebook as Shiva Walker, but then I also have a business page, and it's under Elimirain, which is ELIMIRAIN. And that was my original name.
Okay.
And then I changed it to the Umbrella Buddy because I felt like it described the product a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I like that. It has a better ring to it.
I agree. So find me. Of course, I also do health and wellness. So I'm a health and wellness coach as well. That's how Wendy and I met.
Yep.
So that's Transforming Health. And you can find me on social media under Transforming Health as well. So it's awesome.
Okay. Well, congratulations. I can't wait to get my Umbrella Buddy. I think I bought two.
Right.
One for me, one for my baby. And so I'll be watching and rooting you on, and enjoy the last day of school. And thank you again for taking the time to come peep out in the car and get on the show.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited, and hopefully when I come back, it could be a whole new product.
Absolutely. or another product, because now you know how to do it and you can just crank them out.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good one, Shiva.
Thank you all.
See you, Shiva.
All right.
Yeah, right. See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So now we're back to Dr. Sawyer and I are here. So Dr. Sawyer, so like I said, my cousin, Bill Bailey, shout out to Uncle Bill. He should be listening. He said he would. So that I needed to talk to you. So first of all, we are Virginia State alums.
Right.
Go Trojans. And, he showed me your website, and it just talked about your book, and it talked about some of the, so it's Fred Sawyer.
Right.
FredDocSawyer.com.
Right.
So that's up on the screen for anybody to go check it out. So what I saw first was that you wrote a book and it said A Black Renegade in White America. And I was like, I love that title. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about, a little bit of how you got here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me give you some background. I was raised in Norfolk, Virginia, and I went to Booker T. Washington High School in Norfolk, and that was in the 1950s. And we had great teachers then, and they influenced us. They wanted us to succeed. I played football, and football carried me to Virginia State.
Okay.
I was a pretty good football player, and I also was a pretty good student.
Okay.
I got straight A averages most semesters, and also I was an all CIAA football player for a couple of years. And I'm now in the Virginia State University Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow. Okay.
And the Hamptons Roads Sports Hall of Fame. That's down in Tidewater, Virginia. And I went to the military, stayed there for about 21 years. And I was an airborne ranger, one of those tough guys. Then once I left the military, I went into corporate America. And now I got started with my patents. I have 12 U.S. patents and 2 Canadian patents. And my educational background, I have about 3 master's degrees and a PhD in technical disciplines. That's my background.
Wow. Okay.
So what was my inspiration for starting my patents? Well, in high school and also college, I was also always dealing with technical things with my technical degrees. And I started working on a project in Washington, D.C. to track trains. Like when Metro first started, they could only send one train through the tunnel.
Okay.
But that was ineffective. So they wanted to send more trains through a tunnel. But they had to know where the train was either stopped or whether it was going fast or going slow, that sort of thing. So I use inertial navigation. I don't want to get into what that is, but that's used on an aircraft to determine where you're going, how fast you're going, and where you are. So when I was working on that project, I was introduced to what is called radio frequency identification.
Okay.
It's called RFID. And RFID was at that time in the infancy stage. So I looked at that technology and I said, well, let me take this technology and run with it, because there was a lot of things that I saw that I could do with it. So in 2000, around about 2000, I developed a prototype of my innovation in RFID. And in about 2 years later, I got my first patent.
Okay, so you got your first patent in 2002.
In 2002, I got my first patent. Yeah,
all right.
Well, let me tell you, what is, a lot of people say, well, what is RFID? Well, it's radio frequency identification. What it does, it uses radio waves to capture information that's stored on a small transponder or on a tag. And that tag, of course, is attached to either a person or it's attached to an object. And if you have an infrastructure, say in a building, a warehouse of antennas and readers, you can track the object, track the person anywhere in that facility or in an open area. Okay. And let me tell you what's happening to RFID right now. RFID, is unlimited potential for RFID. People are using barcoding right now. And RFID is going to replace barcoding. Okay. Because barcoding, when you're in a checkout aisle, you go through and the cashier takes your item. Right. And just scans it. Right. Well, RFID is much better than that. RFID can detect an object about 2 football fields away. It's going to also detecting an object while it's moving.
Mhm.
You can't do that with barcoding.
Okay.
And so that's about it. Let me tell you about who's using. I'm gonna give you
Yeah,
an
that's
example.
what I wanted to see. Like, what would that look like modern?
Okay, let me give you an example of who's using this technology right now.
And they're using your patent.
Well, they're infringing on my patent.
Okay, so we're gonna get into that, but let him tell us about who's using it now, and then we'll talk about the infringement.
Yes, if you were to go to Orlando, Florida, and go to Disney World,
Mm-hmm.
when you get to Disney World, you're going to be given a bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put that around your arm, and that bracelet contains a small RFID tag. Now, when you enter Disney World or Disney Park, they have an infrastructure of readers, and you don't see these things, antennas and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you enter that park can determine when you entered the park,
Mm-hmm.
how long you stayed, what ride you're on,
Mm-hmm.
how long you stayed on the ride.
Wow.
If you go from venue to venue,
Right.
the system will track you. Even if you go into a restaurant, for example, and sit down at a table, that system will determine where you are at that table, and the system will also know what you purchased.
She's just giving me the time.
Yeah, what you
That's
purchased before when you were there, say a year ago or 2 years ago. The other thing
That
is,
sounds like good technology,
Yes,
but it
it-
sounds creepy. Like
Creepy.
being watched. Like how I went on the Space Mountain and then I left and came back. That sounds kind of invasive.
there are some problems with that, but
Okay.
there are some benefits too. Let's say
Okay.
that you have your kids in the park, and let's say you have a boy and you lose him.
Yeah.
But RFID, you can find him right away because the system knows where he is.
Okay.
If you go from venue to venue and you leave your kid somewhere in another venue,
Right.
and you say, okay, where's my kid?
Right.
You get on the phone call, they'll tell you where he is.
Okay.
Now, the other thing that happened with my technology is that Coca-Cola, I had a big case with Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola wanted to use my technology in their Coke dispensers
Okay.
to inventory what the contents and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted that technology, so they took it and used it and didn't pay me for using it, not a dime. So that's what's going on. And other organizations that are using my technology, you see Amazon with the boxes that are being in warehouses and that sort of thing. So RFID is tracking those boxes. Let's say Macy's, they don't inventory close down the place anymore and inventory every year.
Mm-hmm.
Once an item is purchased, there's an inventory right there on the spot in real time. Amazon, IBM is using my technology. Microsoft is using my technology. And that's what they're doing.
Okay, so we're gonna go all the way back.
Mhm.
And so you have this technology and you patented it.
Right.
Patented it. Now, the first time you realized somebody was using it, whichever organization, what was that? Like, did somebody come and tell you? How did you know?
Well, here's the thing that happens in the patent office. Once you submit your application
Mm-hmm.
and you get along, at some point they are going to publish your patent,
Okay.
publish your application.
Okay.
So it's in the office for the world to see. All you have to do is go into the patent office, U.S. Patent Office, and you can look up any device or anything that's new that's been patented. So what some organizations are doing right now, let's say the big companies, they don't invent things anymore. What
Yeah.
they do, they go into the patent office, look around.
Jacking ideas.
Right.
Okay.
And so if they find something that they can use, they'll steal it. And that's what's happening to me.
Okay.
They'll steal it, they'll use it, make a lot of money on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go after them, they'll have the resources,
Yeah.
the vast resources
Mm-hmm.
to slow down your patent actions and also to destroy your patents at at any means possible. So that's what they're doing. If you take them to court, then they have the resources to slow you down in court. So that's what's happening in my case.
Okay.
Let me give you another example, if I can.
Sure.
I don't know whether your audience or whether you have seen the movie called Flash of Genius. You ever see that movie?
Mm-mm.
That came out, let's say, about 10 years ago. And it's a true story about an inventor who invented the intermittent windshield wipers.
Okay.
On the cars, when it's raining hard, your windshield wipers will go faster. When it slows down, your windshield wipers will go slower.
Right.
Now, that's the true story. And what happened was that the Detroit motor industry stole that invention, made billions of dollars off that invention. And what they did, they kept the inventor in court for years until he became an old man. And then just before he died, he was able to be compensated, let's say, a couple of $1 million. Whereas the Ford Motor Company made billions of dollars.
Right.
So, yes.
So you first found out that somebody was taking your patent, and then you said, I'm going to sue because I know I had this out there first.
Right. So you'll probably, if you go to, let's say, conferences or exhibits, I try to do that every year to find out what's happening in the RFID.
Okay.
And you'll see exhibits and you look at it and you say, this is my stuff. You're stealing my stuff. And that's how I found out about Amazon, about IBM, about Coca-Cola, and the rest of them. They're all over the place. Now, my technology is sort of foundational.
Okay, right.
Anybody who wants to track, identify, and locate objects or people, and if they want to use RFID, they're using my technology. So that's what's happening. So, when you take, say, a large company to court, it's a slow process and it's an expensive process. And what they're trying to do is, let's take Coca-Cola, for example. They will file motion after motion and they try to outlast you and outspin you. And then in some cases, they'll tell the judge that, oh, this guy is a patent troll. He doesn't invent anything. He just stole this from somebody else and he's trying to get money. Or he's a con artist. Or he's a gold digger who's trying to go
So I have a question about that. If you were the first person who put the patent in, and then obviously their technology, just from a basic timeline, how do they get away with it? I mean, I know they have the resources and the money and all those things, but just from the timeline of you put your patent in or you put your application in, provisional application, and then theirs comes after, then how can they say these things about you when yours was in first?
Oh, they have legions of lawyers. I mean,
so it's just the money.
And they get experts and they'll cash you as, a con artist. They'll cash you as a gold digger who's coming after this multinational company like Coca-Cola. And they keep putting emotions, and it goes on for years. Because when you go to court, it takes a long time.
I know.
It takes a long time and it's very expensive.
It is. It is.
Yes. So that's the situation I'm in today.
So are you currently in that situation, or has anything wrapped up, or have you seen, so your RFID is one patent, but you have 12. What are your other
Well,
ones?
they are concerning RFID, different phases of it.
Okay.
But they're all concerning RFID. One is dealing with, tracking people. The other one may be dealing with tracking trains or anything like that. So I got 17. And then as you go ahead and move along, you improve your patents every year, because you see something, oh, this guy may be using my patent. Well, I don't have in a patent. Let me go back to a patent.
Yes. What is a patent?
A patent is a piece of paper, really.
Okay.
And a patent consists of a specification, and then there are claims. Like if you say I have an RFID patent, your claims will be my RFID system will do element A, B, C, and D. So when you go to court, the court will look at your claims and say, well, is Coca-Cola infringing on claim 1? Does it meet element 1, A, B, C, and D?
Right.
You know, so that's how they do it. Some companies have gone around and said, well, your claim is for A, B, C, and D. My claim is A, B, C, D, and E.
Gotcha.
You know, so they're trying to improve it, and they do all those kind of tricks, and it's up to the judge. And you know, sometimes, like I said before, there are two legal systems.
Yeah.
And when you go to court,
right, as a black man, as a black person, when you go to court,
you're not treated
right
like the other people. But anyway, so you got that to deal with. You know, so that's where I am.
Okay. So have you found anybody to help you? Like, are you out here on your own? So let's see your book. Your book is here. I want to show it here. So you're the only one on this cover. Are you out here fighting the man by yourself?
No.
Are people helping you? Like, what is your process to help you get through this?
Yeah, what happened when I first started and I got my first patent, I knew that I could not finance my patent and finance going out to people, that sort of thing. So I formed a company.
Okay.
And I got some people who were interested in doing it. Got a couple of lawyers. And these were friends out of New Jersey.
Okay.
And what we wanted to do, we found out that we couldn't form a company to make, well, let me go back and say what happened when I first got my patent.
Okay.
I did get a big contract with the U.S. Army.
Okay.
And by the way, the Department of Defense is infringing on my patents also. I haven't gone after those guys. But
I'll be careful of trying to go after those guys.
So I had this big contract to do work for the Department of the Army. Really, the Department of the Army was the executive agent for the Army, Air Force, and Navy in the Department of Defense.
Right.
And when I came out with my patent and with my product, well, the Army couldn't get along with the Navy. The Navy couldn't get along with the Air Force. They wanted to control the action. So they fought about it, and then they decided to dissolve that whole contract.
Dissolve your contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
By that time, people like IBM, Microsoft, they had court on. They were
already seen it.
That's right.
They'd already gotten it.
So, you know, next thing I knew that Microsoft had the contract with the Army. IBM had the contract with the Navy, you know, and go on and on and on. I didn't have enough money to go after the Department of Defense because that would take a lot of money. And in fact, when I went after Coca-Cola, I lost the case in Atlanta. That's where Coca-Cola is, because what happened, I opened the case in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
What they call the rocket docket.
Okay.
I mean, your case will go fast. But what happened was that the judge decided, through the influence of Coca-Cola, to change the venue. Once they moved the case from Alexandria down to Atlanta. The scales were tipped in Coca-Cola's favor.
Because that's where they are,
and
right?
Then, you know, if you pick a jury from there, they probably work at Coca-Cola.
Right.
So the judge also was complicit, I think. He was a judge down in Atlanta. And so on a motion that was raised by Coca-Cola, it took the judge and he held the motion. This is a simple motion, which should have been ruled on in a day or maybe a week. He held that motion for 3 years.
Oh, my goodness.
I couldn't move for 3 years. Couldn't do anything.
Oh, my goodness.
And then at the end of that, he ruled for Coca-Cola and sent me his ruling on Christmas Eve.
Right.
You know, so I appealed that and went up to the circuit court in Washington, D.C. And like I said, it's very expensive.
Right.
It cost me almost $500,000 to get that case solved.
So where does it land now? You got it solved. What does solved look like?
Well, what happened was that the circuit court, of course, agreed with Coca-Cola, but they indicated that, well, here's the problem with your patent. Instead of having A, B, C, and D, you need E. So I went back into the patent office and got E. Now I have that patent ready to go.
Okay.
But now the problem is that, I had a firm that took my case on a contingency basis.
Yeah.
And they would provide the money and found, So now that firm doesn't want to take the case. Now I have to maybe finance it myself. And I'm in the process of getting finances right now.
Okay. Well, see, you better get on Kickstarter or GoFundMe, tell your story and have people donate, as you're going on these shows and talking about your book.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe the public would want to support, or maybe other Black inventors, y'all come together and.
Well, I was on another show and a brother called in and said he listened to my case and listened to my story. And he was pissed. He said, I'm tired of these multinational companies coming in and ripping off small inventors,
right,
especially Black inventors.
Right.
He said, well, maybe we ought to have a movement. Maybe we should boycott Coca-Cola and buy Pepsi-Cola. Maybe we shouldn't go to Disney World. Maybe go some other place. But there ought to be a movement to stop this. Now, when you have a boycott, that will affect their bottom line, say Coca-Cola, and they will react to that. I think the brothers got something going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that this is not a new story. This happens all the time. It's terrible that it's still happening in the modern times, but we know what these modern times are bringing. They're bringing back, it's just remnants of what has always been.
Sure.
So, I think that, but like the new technology, this technology allows for you to get more support and get more people knowing what's happening. So that's why I wanted to do the show. Usually here in the sanctuary, I talk about things that are healing and for wellness, but I also talk about any way to bolster the Black community, right?
Great.
And so a lot of people may not even have thought about Black inventors except for Garrett Morgan or the, Carter G. Woodson or whoever that we know from back in the days that created all these different things, but this is still a modern thing. Our brains are still working and we're still very brilliant and we still have these inspirations that come through us. And, we should be allowed to just like Shiva did, come up with an inspiration and then take it through the process without having somebody try to come in and take it away. And you should be able to profit off of your invention and off of your intellect.
Sure. I was thinking about the movie Hidden Figures. That was something about the Black community that was not well known. In fact, that was hidden away. You would never know that. So you look at my story, for example, I think my story is not well known. In fact, that's been hidden away. But going on radio shows, making things known out there to people. And there are a lot of people out there like me, but they're hidden away.
Right.
So.
Well, that's the good thing also about this technology is that this technology allows us to have a voice and to get a groundswell and to be able to get support and get eyes and get people to follow us and know our story. So that's why, I'm grateful to be able to put on whoever I want and talk about the things that I want, because there are so many amazing things that are happening that we are doing that get taken away so even in the healing space. So it happens in all industry. We know that. You're talking inventions. I could talk about health and wellness. You have Europeans that go to Africa, go to Mexico, go to all these beautiful places, steal the indigenous healing properties, come back and commodify it and act like that it just came from them.
Right.
So it's just the jacking of, all of our ideas and things like that. So I'm glad that you're standing up for yourself.
Yes.
I'm hoping that you get some more support. This is my, part of the support. We'll push it out and put it everywhere that it needs to go. So you wrote a book about your story. So this is the book. And then his website, I will put the website back up on the screen so that you can read more of the story. There are some videos there. There are other interviews there. And so you can go on the website, and it's fred.sawyer.com. Right. So check out this book and check out, his story. So tell us about how you decided to write the book. Why did you write the book, and why this gangster title?
Well, I decided to write the book because of the movie Hidden Figures.
Okay, so you just wrote this book.
Yeah, last year I think it was published.
Okay.
But my daughter pushed me to write the book because she had been watching me over the years. I had no idea of that. Mm-hmm. So she started pushing me for years to write something, and I procrastinated for a long time. Mm-hmm. Then when I started, she had an outline for me. Okay. And so it was easy for me to put it together at that point. So that's what started the book. Now, this thing about renegade, why do well, that's a long story, but
we have 15 minutes, so take the time you need.
Okay. Well, I've always, when you look at, I saw a sign in Fenway Park. It was held up during a baseball game. And that sign read, "Racism is as American as baseball."
It is.
Mm-hmm. And that had a tremendous effect on me. Mm-hmm. I said, now this is the environment that we as Blacks must live in. And in order to succeed, we have to finesse that environment, Mm-hmm. And so my DNA is really as a renegade.
Yep. Okay.
Because my uncle told me a long time ago, he said, you got to have in your life at least 2 guns to shoot in life at all times. And let me tell you what that means. That means that you must have 2 or more professional things that you can do in life well at all times. Okay. Because you never know what the future may hold, So that's why I put in the renegade, because that's who I am. Right. And that's what I've been through. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So how has the response been to the book? And, how are you feeling about it?
Well, the response has been pretty good. Of course, all of my friends, I've sold maybe about 10,000 copies.
Holy smokes.
But they've been to friends and associates and all of that, and the military guys. But, it's selling, but not as fast as I wanted to. Okay. Because I was hoping to somehow get some money from my book to go after the patent, because that's where the money is. Right. Okay. Yeah. I can see big money in the patent, because there are a lot of people and a lot of big companies that are infringing. Yeah. So I wanted to do that with my book. But, sometimes a book is hard to sell. You got to, promote it. You gotta do a lot of things with a book.
Okay. Yeah. I start writing my book June 2nd. So.
Is that right?
Yes. So we'll see. Okay. So let's talk about, because we have a few minutes left, about 12 minutes left. Mm-hmm. What kind of tips can you offer to newbies, people who are interested in potentially getting a patent, and what should a patent cover? Like, what should it protect you from? It sounds like it's not doing its job for you, but what do patents cover?
Well, first of all, if a person has an idea and it's a good idea, then that person should keep that idea secret. Okay. For as long as that person can do it. Okay. Now, if you have to talk to somebody about it, it's good to get a NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Okay. But that only holds for so long. All right. But if you have this idea and you want to patent it, you got to get it into the patent office soon. Okay. Because in the patent office these days, it's the first who files. Let's say you have an idea. and your idea covers an idea that has elements A, B, and C,
Mm-hmm.
and I have something similar, but mine's cover A, B, C, and D.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you get your patent in, your application into the patent office first to file,
Mm-hmm.
then I can't get a patent for that same idea because you filed first.
Right.
Now, one thing that you got to do, and it's going to be helpful, is that when you have this idea, before you send it into the patent office, you got to have a search of documents they call prior art to see what's out there,
Okay.
to see whether your patent is obvious, what has been done before. Because if it's been done before and you hire a lawyer and go through all the steps, you waste a lot of money. So that's got to be the first thing that you have to do. Then you have to get, say, a lawyer
Mm-hmm.
if you really want to write it up, because downrange, whatever you write in that specification is going to be the specification, say, that you're going to have to use in order to get another patent or another patent.
Okay.
That specification is key. So you have to get that done right. And the only way to do that, in my mind, is to get a patent lawyer.
Okay.
So you're going to have to pay money up front to do that. Then once you submit it to the patent office is there to look at your patent. And in my mind, the examiners are there to find reasons not to give you a patent.
Okay. And I have friends who are patent lawyers. So my patent lawyer friends, my sorors, I'm coming to y'all and ask y'all, why is this happening to my brother here?
Right. So they will send what they call office actions to you, and these are issues about your patent
That you have to tweak. So tweaks you need to make.
Yeah, tweaks. Well, you got to defend. You got to defend what's in your. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you have a patent lawyer, if you get, say, one office action, that's great.
Okay.
Because you're paying your attorney to look at that and help you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get 10, that's lawyer time, billable hours, and that can get very expensive.
Right.
So when you get by that, at some point, your patent is going to be published.
Right.
Your application is going to be published.
Okay.
Now, there's a problem with that because it's out there for the world to see.
Right.
I mean, people from China, people from Russia, everybody can see it.
Okay.
And that's what happens with the big corporations now. They have people who are dedicated to looking at what's going on in the patent office. And if they find something that they see that they need, they will take it. Just like Coca-Cola did for me. Coca-Cola wanted my RFID technology in their Coke machines. So they took it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happens there. But then when you get the patent, after it takes about 3 to 5 years to really get a patent. And it takes.
So Shiva has 3 to 5 years to get a patent potentially?
Yeah.
But can she sell her bunny bag before that?
Yeah, because she has a pending patent right now. And she's filed her application.
Okay.
So it's on file. What a patent does is give you a monopoly for 20 years,
Okay.
And they put it out there, say, okay, this patent is by Fred Sawyer, and this is what his patent is all about. If you do something similar to what Fred Sawyer has done, and he has a patent, then you have to pay him some type of, let's say, royalty, for doing it. Right. So that's what I tried to do with these big companies that stole my technology.
Mm-hmm.
But the big companies, they see that you're small, and they know when they're going to the patent office, here's Fred Sawyer, who invented this thing in his garage. He's a little small guy. Mm-hmm. So I'll take it, and I don't have to pay him. Mm-hmm. If he comes after me in court, I'll just keep him in court and outlast him, outspend him. That's what they do.
Right.
So getting back to the patent, once you get the patent, your problems really start at that time too.
Okay.
You got your patent, so that's a piece of paper. What are you going to do with it?
Right.
So what it allows you to do, in Ms. Walker's case, if she gets her patent, now she has her bag. Now, if Walmart wants to build something like she has as a knockoff, then she can go and sue Walmart because she has a patent.
But she still will have to come up with the resources to sue. That's the issue.
Yeah, but hopefully while she's selling her bags, then she'll build up a war chest just in case she has to go against Walmart. But that's a task in itself because Walmart has unlimited resources.
Right.
But there are smaller guys too who are going to knock you off. Maybe your friends or maybe someone, you know, in the next state. You can take care of a guy like that.
Okay. Okay. So we have we have a few tips. Get a lawyer.
Get a lawyer.
But I feel like you're gonna need like a lawyer who's really, really gonna fight for you. Because if you're still, you know, is it almost inevitable? Do you know anybody who has been able to, of your inventor friends, who have been able to just go through and then see the fruits of their invention and to be able to like get their war chest together?
Well, yeah.
And have you like ever?
I did that.
Okay.
I did that. But what happened in my case when I got a couple of partners early on, and they had little money. I had some. We put that together, so we were able to go out and actually go to people and say, "Well, do you want to give me some money to use my invention?" We were able to get some people to do that. The ones that didn't do that, we had to go to court. But we were able to get money, and that's why we built up our war chest. And we had quite a bit of money. But, you know, where the money was with the big corporations, the multinational corporations. So when you go after them, whatever war chest that you have, that's going to be depleted after about a year or so.
Right.
So when I went to, say, against Coca-Cola at the Federal Circuit Court in Washington, D.C., I paid close to $800,000 for just to bring that case to the Federal Circuit Court in Washington. That's a step down from the Supreme Court.
Oh, wow.
So you have big lawyers. You have good lawyers, and they cost a lot of money. You know? But had I won it, I've been in good shape.
Right. Okay. So a patent versus a trademark, because I have trademarks and I let Howard University students do it, you know, so because it was too much for me to even try to figure out. They have the law clinic and that's part of what they do to become patent and trademark lawyers, I guess. So they have a clinic, but what's the difference between a trademark and a patent? Is there any difference?
Well, a patent covers a product, you know, an element, something that you can do, you know, some product that you can sell.
Okay.
A trademark could be the trademark, what's on Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola trademark, you know, to identify that brand, you know, wherever you go, you see a Mercedes trademark so that you can recognize it. That's the brand.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Because that's what I have trademarked my brands.
Right.
It took forever. And I still had to pay my money, you know, I still had to pay for it. And so, you know, I did it piecemeal because it was expensive.
Right.
So I just wanted to get that idea of what it would look like. So go ahead.
But your brand identifies you.
Right.
You got that brand.
Right.
It's like Donald Trump has a brand.
Right.
You see Trump, you know what it is right away.
Right. Absolutely. So we have 2.5 minutes left. And what I want to finish up with is that there are steps that you can take. Right. You know, be careful. Keep your mouth shut till you get your stuff together.
Right.
Get a lawyer. Get your monies together.
Right.
Make sure that you dot all the I's and cross all the T's the best you can.
Right.
So this is a health and wellness show. Tell me in like a minute or so how you have been able to navigate this on the emotional level. Because if they're taking all your money, this is your stuff. You know, you're out here fighting and it's hard. Fighting causes issues in the body. So how are you able to keep a positive mindset?
Well, it's been difficult.
Yes.
I mean, I've had a lot of sleepless nights, but I've had my family, my friends, that sort of thing. Plus, I was able to get a good law firm, Stern Kessler, out of Washington, D.C. They were able to finance on a contingency basis all of the money that I had to spend, you know, but they got their money back when we sued people, that sort of thing. But, you know, I had my friends there. I was able to get a good law firm in the beginning. That took a lot of pressure off of me. And then I was able to work with some partners that came in and we got along. We didn't have any conflict. So
Right.
I was able to settle into that. And
Right.
that helped me a lot.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And, I want you to be careful out here in these streets fighting these people, because we don't, we need you here to be here. Money is one thing, but we know you're fighting some big people. Do what you can, but be careful.
Thank you, Wendy.
Yes, be careful. And so everybody, please check out fred.sawyer.com. Here's his book. Support him. Also, there is an organization called blackinventions.org. They have all types of inventions and inventors that they highlight. I saw them at a trade show recently in Philly. Amazing. So check us out, and we thank you for joining us in the sanctuary. We will see you next time. And please ask any questions that you have. Go to fred.sawyer.com. We'll see you next time. Peace. So for those of you who are on the Facebook Live, please, check out blackinventions.org. If you have an invention, you have some tools here, you have some insight on what to do, how to try to keep yourself safe, because you do deserve to profit from your intellectual property. You should not have to be fighting people. But if now you know that you do, be sure to put the people around you. And it's the lawyers and it's the money, but it's also good friends and family to help support you through the emotional, mental part of it. Because we don't want to take you out because you made a invention and you're not getting your money, and then you get sick. We don't want that either. So we will see you next time in the sanctuary. Thank you again for joining us. Peace.